Hello everyone, this is number 49, Learn the Rules here with the video again. I've been gone for some amount of months only because, well, I've just been lazy to make videos. Also just ran out of ideas. Anyways, I have started to do more things, and as you can see behind me, you see 4 little baby Ninja Turtles eating a pizza. Don't mind the adorable photo, but anyways, I am going to be trying to do a video just to recap on certain things on the new Team Regionals coming up for New York, at least here for me in Jersey. So New York is coming soon, and it was within 1 week, not this weekend of course, which is going to be May 21st. Right now it is May 17th. I kind of thought that Team Regionals was going to be on the 21st, where I was going to a wedding for my cousin, which I congratulate her. Anyways, upon that, so I kind of just thought everything was on the 21st, so I was like, well, I'm not going to Team Regionals, but then my friends told me that it was on the 28th. So then now I am back on track with Team Regionals and thought, hey, might as well do something based on the teams. So New York is having another first again with a lot of things, because if you think about it, New York has had a lot of firsts of number of few things, which we've broken at least 2 records of a number of people that have come to our Team Regionals, which was the one that one of them at least got that round 0, which is about, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago. And the very first, no, not the very first Team Regionals, but another one where it was a singles tournament. Yeah, that's what it was, a singles tournament, where the break ride started to come on in, which was the first 2 trial decks, the Gold Paladin and the Narukami trial decks, and then the Prisms with their Banquet of Divas, one more time. Dazzling Divas. Yeah, Dazzling Divas EV6 with the Prisms. So that was the first fully fledged break ride deck that was made during around that time. So that was another first. So another one being, I believe, would be, darn it, I forget. I believe when it came out with G-Set 2, we were the first ones to test out G-Set 2. I believe that would be one thing. And then another one, I can't really remember as of now, because I was thinking most of the time of other things that we got first. But anyways, not going to linger on for too long, but we're going to be the first ones in New York to get the 16 card in G-Zone style of play, or the meta, or you would say, shit. my mind is like boggled out because I am tired. I've worked since 5 in the morning. Anyways, it is the format. There you go. The G-Set format, where we have 16 cards in G-Zone. Since now Fighters Collection 2016 is coming out, we will be getting a number of cards, which one of them is right behind me, and this one's a very big staple, which will help out every single G deck come back to life against rush decks. So without further ado, I'm going to go along with the cards, and I'm going to read them along as so. So here we got Air Element Seabreeze, Cray Elemental. His ability is, of course, Stride Step, blah blah blah, but is an Axe skill. So in the G Zone, you could choose to normal stride this guy, or you could just use his Axe skill, which is in the G Zone. Kind of lets you choose a card from your hand and discard it. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard, the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 0. Your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2. Now, grade 2, keeping track of that, grade 2. It does not say grade 2 or less. So, you could run a grade 1 rush deck against this. Just saying. Anyways, grade 2, and no unit was placed on your opponent's Vanguard circle during the ride phase of your opponent's preceding turn. Stride this card on your Vanguard circle from face down. And continuous skill, it belongs to all clans and nations. Anyways, so to explain it properly, the card, your opponent, let's say he rode into grade 2, and then you ride into grade 3. You can't use him immediately. Your opponent just rode into grade 2. So you have to wait 1 more turn. So if your opponent does stay at grade 2, 1 more turn, and then you're on grade 3, then you're able to at least go into Seabreeze. Or, what you could do, your opponent goes to grade 2, you go to grade 2, your opponent stays at grade 2, You go on grade 3, go into Seabreeze. Simple as that. So that's how that could work. And that's if your opponent rushed you down enough to at least use his ability. Anyways, so he's a great card. He's going to be stable in everyone's deck, no matter what. If you're using a G Stride deck or not, probably. Because other rush decks could probably get the upper advantage with this card just because of the triple drive and setting Generation Break 1, though they may not run Generation Break 1 units. Maybe something else, but who knows. So, like I said, this guy is a very big staple and is very, very handy. So, but what you do have to be careful is the counterblast cost and the discard cost, which you're going to be discarding discarding one, I'm sorry. So, yeah. If you're a deck that does not hold your counterblast well, do be careful when you're using this card if ever you really need to strive to at least get your Generation Break 1 skills off. Alright then. So, we're done with Seabreeze. So we're going to go on to the next card, which will be Dark Element Dismal. Dismal is one of the best Cray G Guardians out there now, or just G Guardians in general, because she's also a very good staple. She has Resist in Guardian Circle, and she also has when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, choose one of your rear guards, and until the end of that turn, that unit cannot be hit, cannot be chosen by the effects of your opponent's cards. So, pretty much, brawlers, go fuck yourself. That's really what it's saying. I mean, you only select one card, so it's kind of a okay and kind of not okay at the same time, but really it does stop a lot of your opponent's plays that do multiple attacks or at least do retiring or locking and all that stuff. Especially with Overlord or with Deep Police with their Laurels out on board, use her and just say, okay, you're going to attack my rear guard. No. No. Just no. Not at all. Stop. So, she just stops it altogether. She doesn't let any of the rear guards die if you so choose to give it that one not to be hit or be affected with skills by your opponent. So that's what she's good for. She's nothing else, nothing more. But she does have Resist, so Dai Kaiser can't pop this bitch. So, there you go. Next one will be a somewhat decent one, Metal Element Screw You. Literally screw you for this guy. But he's okay. He has to be like the second Stride or the second G Guardian, only for the fact that it says choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, if the number of face-up cards in your G zone is 1 or more, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets 10,000 shield until the end of battle. So it's going to be a 25 shield if you use it as the second G Guardian, or if it is technically your Generation Break 2. So you have to be a GB1, so then you can use this guy. Let me see. Face up in your G zone. So if you do use a G Guardian before him, and then the end of that battle, and you go into a new battle to use him, then you're fine. You can use him. But if you do use a G Guardian in the same battle and then try to bring him out to use his skill, you cannot. Just saying, you cannot, because you have nothing face up in your G zone. So, getting that rule out there, do be careful when players do use this upon the same battle with another G Guardian. Alright, so just be careful with that. Another thing that I do have to say is you're discarding 2 cards, so do also keep in mind that with his skill, you are most likely going to be discarding 2 cards. You're discarding your heal trigger, and you're discarding some other, maybe 5k, a grade 3, or another 10k shield to make this guy a plus 10 shield. At that point, I'd rather just guard with 2 10s if the 5k didn't matter. You know what I mean? So yeah. So he's okay. He's not a bad G Guardian, but he is very helpful whenever you really do need that extra plus 10. So just be careful with his costs. So next we're going to go on to other clan stuff, which is going to be our Bastard. Or Meteor Kaiser Bustard, really. Once per turn, count up +1 and choose a face down card from your G zone, turn to face up. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose the same number of rear guards as the same Choose the same number of your rear guards as the number of face-up cards named Meteor Kiter Buster in your G-Zone and stand them. If 2 or more units were stood and you have 5 rear guards, until the end of that battle, this unit gets Vanguard Counterblast 1, Vanguard Circle, Counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. At the end of the battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit, and it gets -2 drive checks. Really? Huh. I didn't know it was -2 drive checks, but whatever. Still a good. You can honestly just flood your board, have your, what's it called now? If you had a riot horn and like some other unit in front of it, or if you had the riot horn clone, the Generation Break 1 Rumble, if you have a Rumble behind another unit, use his skill to stand up the unit, and then Rumble stands up. You can really just use his skill right then and there to restand already as the first one. You just need to flood your board, and then there you go. So he could be the first restander immediately. He can be like just straight on right there, and just, you know, he's pretty cool. He's pretty good. Still wouldn't really try to force his restand, mind you, only for the fact that it can be a little bit too Counterblast heavy, but that's usually Nova Grapplers, as they always are. And you do have Meteor Kaiser, can't remember his name, but damn, it was he's right over here. I could probably grab him, but he's in this box. And all my Nova Grapplers are in this box because I'm trying to get rid of them, because I actually don't want to have them anymore, sadly. But yeah, it's gonna be crappy. Victoplasma, I didn't even have to pull it out, I just remembered. Brain fart, right? Alright, so Victoplasma is a Counterblast 2, same. Counterblast 2, flip up a copy of him. If you have 2 or more face up in the G-Zone, you lose a drive check, and pretty much at the end of the battle this unit attacked. Discard 2, restand. So that's all that is for that, but he's a good restander for the first restand, and then you got Victoplasma to follow on right after. Then you can use this guy again if Victoplasma doesn't work, but hopefully you do have enough counterblasts if you do unflip enough so you can get this guy out there. Excuse me. Alright then, so next card. Actually no, wait, I do want to say that Nova Grapplers really do have a very strong rear guard plays, so do be careful, especially with their new referee card, and then adding Energy Girl into the mix. It could actually make the rear guards stand up really nuts and get a shit ton of power, and with Rush it helps them out a lot more, and especially with this guy restanding units, it will help even more with the plays that they got. So next we're gonna go into Grand Blues with their new lady, Demon Sea Queen Mareed. Beautiful lady. Her skill is Act, Counterblast 1, choose a face down card from your G-Zone, turn it face up, and choose a card from your hand and discard it. Choose up to the same number of normal units from your drop zone as the number of face-up cards named Demon Sea Queen Mareed in your G-Zone, with the sum of their grades being 4 or less. Call them to separate rearguard circles, and increase this unit's power by the sum of the original power of the units called with this effect until the end of turn. So it's just a big beefy number if you ever so choose to call out like 3 7Ks and all that stuff. So she's good looking, but she's good. She's a good card. She's very strong, and yeah. It's mainly just to scare your opponent to get off a counterblast of them. What the hell? No, to make them lose a perfect guard, so that when you use Night Rose's Stride, it'll help out with you getting the multiple attacks off. But this is just a good little endgame finisher, and also like just really give pressure to your opponent with a giant number. But still, she's a really good card, and she helps out V-Clan a little bit more. Just notice she's a vampire. But yeah. Grand Blues, what I can say is, are a force to be reckoned with now, especially with Night Rose, 7 Cs. 7 Cs is a rush deck. but it may be put down a little bit thanks to Sea Breeze, since Sea Breeze, I did say, will help out with the rush. Still though, 7 Seas can put in multiple attacks in the early game, so by the time you get into Sea Breeze, you may be in trouble. Just be careful, because they can really abuse the living hell out of all their abilities when rushed back. So yeah, be careful with 7 Seas and Night Rose also, because Night Rose's abilities with her own units also can put some pressure onto you. Alright, so next we got freaking Booty, as everyone keeps calling her. It's just a big Miss Booty, but funny part is the flavor tech is covering her crotch. Anyways, Flower Princess of Perpetual Summer Verano. I thought this chick was a musketeer when I first saw her because she looks like one. But anyways, she has a freaking wall of text. So last one, choose a face down card from your G-Zone, turn it face up. Choose a card from your hand in this... Wait, what? Choose a card from your hand in drop zone and return them to your deck. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 cards from your hand and call them to separate rearguard circles. Choose the same number of your rearguards as the number of face-up cards named of this chick in your G-Zone. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as... And the same name of each of those units, call them to separate rearguard circles, shuffle your deck, and the units called from your deck with this effect gets boost until the end of turn. So, I kind of brain fucked myself with trying to read this one, but pretty much you just call out a board with just 1 Soul Blast and losing a card from your hand. Technically 3, because you're calling out 2 cards from your hand also to the board with their ability. But if your board is gone and you have no board at all, she does help you out in the long run to at least get some of your units out there. So it does help Neo Nectars out a lot. She's actually pretty. I just now got a closer look. That's kind of funny. She has a watering can for her gun. Alright then. So that's all I can really say about this chick, but I will talk about Neo Nectars a little bit later, because we're going to go on to other G-Unit strides that I will be talking about. Diablo, we still know this bastard, because he's still a bastard, and he's still freaking effective in the meta because of his own skill that everyone usually forgets, which is, of course, Cannabis 1, flip a copy of this son of a bitch up. And if the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 2 or more, so he has to be the second stride, or unless your opponent G-guarded, unless this guy G-guarded, and then goes into him, then, you know, he can be the first stride. Still saying, though, he'll get 10,000 in critical, and if he retires 3 of his own rear guards, your opponent must retire 2 in order to guard from their hand. So, this guy is just saying, fuck your rear guards, and I will not let you do anything if you have nothing. So, if you have 1 rear guard, I might call out a Bastard Dark Revenger Abyss. I might call out a Bastard Dark Revenger and just retire it, because I can do things and I can get rid of your units. So do be careful with what you keep out on board, especially against Shadow Paladins with their Revenger plays, because Revengers can easily retire your units and leaving him to be like, oh, you have that 1 measly rear guard, cute. Now I retire my 3, you can't guard for anything. But thanks to G-Guardians now, it does kind of help us a little bit and gives us somewhat of an answer toward him. But not necessarily, because of, well, just how he works. 'Cause he just gets 10,000 shield, so it's like, you kind of still gotta discard more to, like, stop this guy. So he kind of, like, takes 3 heal triggers to discard for 3 G-Guardians to stop this guy. Unless you're using Screw You, then Screw You can actually kind of screw this guy and help you out a lot more. But still, keep in mind, Screw You has to be like GB1 first, so you have to have 1 face-up unit in your G-Zone in order for him to really activate. So yeah, be careful with that. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, keep a good amount of rear guards on board. And don't keep your rear guard circles empty enough so that this guy will literally kill you, because he is a game ender. He's always been a game ender, and he still is. No matter what, till this day, he will always be a game ender. So always remember that Shadow Paladins will always play this card in their decks. In their G-zones, sorry. Alright, Ace. Ace is the place where the help for... Fuck, never mind. Okay. So, Dragonic Overlord Ace. Or I'm not gonna... Supreme Heavenly Emperor Dragon Dragonic Overlord the Ace. Blow it out your ass. Anyways, its main skill is, of course, Counterblast 2. Flip up a copy of himself. If you have 2 or more units face up in the G-zone, he will get -1 drive check, and at the end of the battle this unit attacked, I believe discard 1 Overlord card, yep, and 1 other card. Pretty much discarding 2, but you have to discard an Overlord card. One of those cards have to be an Overlord card. And he'll restand and gain plus 5,000 power. So yeah. First attack, he'll just attack for 26. You restand discarding an Overlord and another card. Then he'll restand. Upon that, he will gain the 5,000. So that's how he'll work. And that's just how he'll beat down your opponent. Keep in mind, this could still be a first strike no matter what. Your opponent could just counterblast 4 and then flip up 2 copies of him. Then he's ready to use his own skill, because they could counterblast 2 and fail it, and they'll just counterblast 2 again to get him off and have him activate, because then they just have to sack a Conroe. It's like, cool, attack the Vanguard, counter charge 2, attack the Vanguard, counter charge 2, done. They've used all their counterblasts, but they got them all back thanks to Conroe. So yeah, thanks to the Legend deck, this guy can just go off whenever the hell he wants to. Yeah. Alright then, next, before my phone dies, we're gonna, sorry, before my camera dies, Blue Waves. Blue Waves are very strong and still a pain in my ass when it comes to Bermuda Triangles, but still a very strong sub-clan, especially for Aquaforce, and still a force to be reckoned with as of now. Blue Wave, Martial Dragon, Tetraboiled Dragon, Counterblast 1, choose a face-down copy of himself from your G-zone, turn it face up. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, if you have a heart with Blue Wave in its card, you pay the cost. If you do, until the end of the turn, this unit gets a -1 drive check. And 4th wave on time only. 4th wave time only. At the end of the battle, let your rear guard attack the Vanguard. You may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit. So I believe this has to be the second battle. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, blah blah blah. This actually does not have to be the second battle. What? Usually, most of the time that works. Huh. Well, depending on your critical trigger and your starter, you would give this guy a second battle draw. So you usually would attack him for the second time. So he'll be the second wave. You go with your Vanguard, you go with your rear guard being the first wave, then him being the second wave. So, let's see. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have a heart, blah 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 blah. Oh, okay, so immediately when he attacks, you gotta pay the cost. Okay, so there's a Generation Break 2, and the second he attacks the first time, you have to pay the cost to get him ready for the 4th battle, because then the 4th battle is when he restands. So, sorry, yeah, 4th battle is when he restands. So there you go. So he only does 2 turn drives every single time, but still a good card because he's a restanding Vanguard, especially for a clan that does nothing but restand their own rear guards and put a lot of pressure to the opponent. Oh my god. Alright, Omniscience Magnet Armor. He's only good because of G-Guardians, because G-Guardians helps him at least go off for the first time and makes Great Nature set up. The only thing is, Great Natures are a combo-based deck, so they kinda are okay and not okay at the same time, so they require setup, so if you beat them up quick enough, they will probably lose momentum. But anyways, Magnet Armor, pretty much, Counterblast 1 and flip a copy of him face up. And if they got 2 or more in the G-zone, let me see, choose up 2 of your rear guards to get +4, and then those rear guards, if they got 20,000 power or greater, they have glory skills. So your opponent counter guard with grade 1s or higher. 2 of those rear guards at least. You can perfect guard this son of a bitch, but you can't perfect guard the rear guards. That's pretty much it. Like I said, rush them hard enough and give them enough pressure, they might lose momentum and they won't have enough units in their hand to at least cooperate to at least use this guy at an early pace. So, still, he's a good card. Can really end your games too. on the first stride turn if they manage to get the G Guardian out. But yeah, Universe. We all know Chaos Universe, Steven Universe. I mean Chaos Universe. Annoying card, still annoying. Can still be a pain in the ass. Cannabis 1, flip a copy of him face up. You don't have to have him as a second stride, but you could have him as a first stride, which pretty much you choose an empty rearguard circle on your opponent's board, and your opponent chooses a card from their own hand to put it face down on that card, on that spot that you chose locked. So there you go. That's mainly it. But if you have 2 or more face up in the G zone, he gets a secondary skill, which is you just get a free lock. It's great. It helps out the Link Joker players, especially for Chaos Breaker himself or Chaos Bringer, because Chaos Bringer's Limit Break skill will kick off when you got 2 or more. When your opponent has 2 or more lock cards on their board during the main phase. So yeah, that's how that works, and that's just how it is. The deck just goes off, and it doesn't end there. It just keeps going. And I hate it, but I have ways now around it thanks to the new G Guardians that are coming out. So yeah, he's a pain, but he can actually lock you down real quick. Next we got Holy Star of Raphael. Raphael is a pretty damn good card, especially for Angel Feathers. They can use this now also as a first stride turn. If ever they do use G Guardian, they can use this girl real quick. And her ability is just flip a copy of herself face up in the G zone, Generation Break 2 of course, and heal a damage. Simple as that, nothing more. Angel Feathers really do need this card at max 4. They really do need 4 of these cards, because if they don't, they're really going to have a hard time, you know, keeping up with their opponent in damage. And this will help them at least heal 1 damage, keeping them 1 step ahead of their opponent. So now we're going to go back into the Neo Nectars, Dream Spinning Ranunculus Asha. She's always needed as a 4 of, and still now even more since the 16 G zone has expanded. Her ability is Persona Flip, and choose a card, choose one of your rear guards, and you have 2 or more copies of that rear guard, your entire front row gets plus 5,000. And her second ability is if you have 2 or more units face up in your G zone, you can select a unit, search your deck for a copy of that exact unit you selected, and when the unit is called, it gets an additional plus 2,000 power. So just that unit, and that's it. But you could use it as your first stride turn. It'll be helpful actually to plus power to your entire front row, making at least good columns, decent columns for 10k drops to your opponent in like the first stride turn. So it will help a lot, especially with me trying to play the deck right now. It's one of my top 3 plays, but I'll actually describe my other decks that I will be choosing, of course, later on with this whole thing. So yeah, that's what I'll be talking about with that stuff later. But Ashas are really good. You need 4 of these, especially in an Asha deck, no matter what. Or any Neo Nectar deck, because she can be splashed in any Neo Nectar deck. Dream Spinning, at least. Then we're going into Ranunculus Inglorious Bloom Asha. She can only be used in an Asha deck because she needs an Asha Heart in order to activate. So, her main skill is Generation Break 2, Catalyst 1, Soul Blast 1, choose a face down card from your G zone, turn it face up. So you could flip up a spinning Asha, and you could continue on with the skill, which is if you have a Heart Ranunculus in his card name, choose up to 1 of your units, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that unit, call it to rearguard circle, shuffle your deck. Choose up to 4 cards of your units with the same card name as that unit. They get plus 5,000 power for each card named Dream Spinning Ranunculus Asha in your G zone face up until the end of turn. If you have a unit with the same card name as this unit on your Vanguard circle, this unit gets a critical. So if you have another copy of it, the same unit you just, you know, cloned, she'll get a critical. So that's pretty much it. So if you use Dream Spinning once, you have 2 face up in the G zone, then you use her to spin up, to flip up another Dream Spinning, you have 3 face up. So all the units that you had selected of the same name of the unit you just chose out before will gain 15,000 power. All of them will gain 50,000 power. So that's how she works, and will help you at least gain a shit ton of power to your rear guards. And with Bloom out now, Bloom buffs out rear guards a lot more. So she's a force to be reckoned with, and she can also be run at 4 now, thanks to the G-Zone being expanded. But still, really running her at 2 or 3 is more realistic, because trying to run her at 4 is still kind of hard because of the counterblast cost, and also the soul cost. But then again, soul isn't much of a problem if you do use the critical trigger skill to put in the soul +5 to your Vanguard with Ashen's name, or Ranunculus' name, sorry, and draw a card. But yeah, that's Ashen for you. And then the last one will be School of Twilight Olivia. I'm bringing this up because why the hell not? It is my clan that I enjoy very much. Shut up because of the legs? No, it's not because of the legs. No, it was not. I respect the clan more than actually what you guys think of waifu material, because I don't see it as that. I never do. Anyways, School of Twilight Olivia. SP form, why the fuck not? Because you guys like to see that. Anyways, main skill, upon attack, Catalyst 1, flip up a copy of herself, face up in the G-Zone. And if you have 2 or more, no, if you have 1, if you can only pay the cost if you at least have 1 face-up unit in your G-Zone. So you have to have her as a second stride, or at least use a G-Guardian. She can be used on the first stride if you have the G-Guardian used in the previous turn. Or during your opponent's turn, pretty much. Because you have to use a G-Guardian during your opponent's turn. Anyways. So, you choose up to 5 units. Return them to your hand if they all have different names. Return up to 5. Up to 5. If you return up to 3 this way, she will gain a critical, and you can call 2 units to different rows. So, front row and back row. So, yeah. So, you can call an entire column again, and just attack with the column. So, if you wanted to, if you have an entire board with different names, so like your 2 grade 2s have different names and your 3 boosters have different names, return everything to your hand and then just call out those 2 units that you so choose to call out, and then do any kind of skills that would activate if something was returned to your hand from rear guard circle. So that's all I can say about Olivia. I throw in Olivia in here only because 1, it's Bermuda, and 2, well, she can be used now as a first stride if you do use a G-Guardian. But that can be said for a lot of strides now, because I could talk about like Gildarias, I could talk about shit, I could fucking talk about anything like Royal Paladins, Holy Dragon, Saint Blow Dragon, and I can't really think of more because there's a lot of clans I just can't think of my head. Oh, next stage, you can use next stage immediately. So that's really it. I don't know why the hell I didn't throw up next stage in there, but next stage is a card that we all know about too. Which, of course, Generation Break 2, kind of. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. Counterblast 1, discard 3 cards. Put this unit back to your G-Zone. And flip up a copy of himself, of course. And then restand your Chrono Jet Heart. You have to have a Chrono Jet Heart, by the way, for this guy to even work. Restand your Chrono Jet. And that's it. Your Chrono Jet just restands. And you can attack with that Chrono Jet. The normal Chrono Jet Dragon. Not Chrono... Not Chrono Dragon next stage, because that went away. So then you just twin drive with your Generation Break 2, no grade 1s or higher, with 11k, no 16k. I'm sorry, because he gets plus 5,000 power upon his own Generation Break 2. But anyways, that's enough about that. I kind of just went along with just spouting out a bunch of strides, and Gildarias for Dark Irregulars also is pretty good, but Dark Irregulars I can't see much play now. Only because they still need some support, which they're getting soon. They're getting the Blade Wing support, so it will help them out a little bit more and make them more effective along with everything that they have now. And yeah, so I see them coming back, at least doing more work and doing some damage to the meta now. But we have to wait and see for their support to come out little by little. As we all know, Gold Paladin's getting support, but yeah. So this is just me basically on some strides that I can at least talk about, and I should have talked about more strides in the Fighters collection, but there are a number of them that I'm just like, you don't really need to know all of them. The main ones you really need to worry about is the ones that are generation rare, but some of them aren't also really all that impressive. I will talk about maybe the Angel Feather and the Oracle Think Tank one, but again, they aren't all too crazy. But Bustard is a little bit crazy because it can restand, and the Neo-Nectar one because it can call an entire field. So those are the only two that I saw that were pretty amazing, and all those G Guardians and Sea Breeze was the best thing. But anyways guys, I'll talk to you later and take care. Bye.